going.
Hello, everybody.
Going, gone, boy.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the Anime Club.
So we're on Free Thoughts for Bakemonogatari.
Yeah.
And I want to do recommendations first. And I want to say, same thing as the last couple times we've done it. I don't want to be grasping for straws trying to find like 30 or 40 shows like this. But if we have like a couple that we think are right, like I would recommend Bunny Girl Senpai based off this.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yes.
And I think we would all agree on that.
Yeah.
I think maybe ReZero as well.
Maybe it hits some emotional story beats, but it has a little bit more action.
Yeah.
So it's little. Oh, you know what? I would actually also recommend, if you're not in it so much for the emotional beats, Elmoy would actually be a good one because it's kind of got a detective story element to it. So I think
a little bit.
So
Same
I think
kind of like magical world, trying to figure out what this weird thing that from culturally you'll be able to put together.
Yeah, a little bit. I think my final recommendation then would be Durarara. Because I think Durarara has a very similar vibe, honestly, to this. A little more so than Bunny Girl. Durarara is a little bit more down to earth like this show was, as opposed to Bunny Girl, which was a little more kind of up in the clouds. And Durarara does deal with people suffering from various mental issues and things wrong.
and just emotional damage.
Yeah.
As the animation whore, I'll just tell you to go run the Shaft gambit. Shaft definitely develops the style as they make shows going forward. So if you really like the style, you're really only getting this with Shaft.
Yeah. Obviously, if you liked it a lot, watch the rest of the series.
Yes, but that goes without saying.
Yeah. What about you, Vorn? Can you think of anything that we haven't already mentioned?
Was that old teacher?
Great Teacher Onizuka?
Yeah, that. And...
I guess
Yeah.
you could go with Great Teacher Onizuka or Goku-sen. They're both very similar, but that's based more on a kind of fix it and it's less emotionally damaging and fixing, and more so like fixing physical aspects of people's lives.
Okay, so now that we're kind of getting to the end of recommendations here, I think, at least I feel like I've been trying to rein it in a little bit. The Bunny Girl Senpai comparison.
I'm sorry, it's true.
It's very clear Bunny Girl Senpai was very inspired by Bakemonogatari.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and of course we watched Bunny Girl first, so in my mind I keep saying this is like Bunny Girl Senpai, and I know that it's the other way around, but I watched Bunny Girl first, so I'm saying that this is like Bunny Girl for me.
I'm curious to see what my thoughts would have been if we had done it the other way around, which probably would have benefited Bakemonogatari a bit more.
Actually, I think this would have made me like Bunny Girl more.
Yeah.
I'd watched
I
this
actually
first.
liked Bunny Girl more because I could understand it more.
I think Bunny Girl alights slightly more on the side of comedy than this does, and that hits well with me and Vorn. But you prefer emotional
I don't
shit.
mean I would have liked Bakemonogatari more than Bunny Girl Senpai. I mean, I would have liked Bakemonogatari more than I currently like Bakemonogatari.
Well, that too, but we like a lot of comedy and like cute stuff in our shows.
Because remember,
and this is a little bit more emotional, which is up your alley.
Oh, I do like Snafu.
It is a little bit.
I actually think Bunny Girl Senpai was the more emotionally hitting show for me.
But it was funnier.
That too, but
This was emotionally damaging. They were both emotionally effective, but this was emotionally damaging.
I don't know. Bunny Girl Senpai had me crying at the end of every arc. This, I don't think I cried once.
I think honestly, Bunny Girl Senpai just had the better like pacing and structure, honestly, in comparison
That's where
to
I think
this.
I would have liked Bakemonogatari more, because I think they had similar pacing issues, but Bakemonogatari's was slightly worse. Whereas if I had watched it first, I probably wouldn't have been as like. I probably wouldn't have felt the pacing issues nearly as badly if I had
the
watched
Demon
this
Slayer
one first.
versus Naruto comparison for I think both of us, where that because Bunny Girl Senpai had this like essentially as a reference, they could more effectively do like the story beats and stuff with it.
Well, also I think, and this is just maybe me personally in my feelings, but Bunny Girl across all of its arcs tackled issues that are fairly common in teenage populations, Gen Xers and millennials. Like, these are common fears, like not being noticed, inadequacy, like anxiety and that kind of thing. Like, Bunny Girl was very relatable. And I know that I felt a lot of the same like anxieties as the characters did, and I'm sure that all of us felt very connected with some of the bunny girl issues. Where areas in Bakemonogatari, it's hard to feel connected with a 10-year-old girl who died from like a pre-existing brain condition that she was born of. Like it's really sad. That is emotionally devastating. But it's not emotionally connective in the same way that a girl who literally can't be seen by her classmates because she doesn't think anyone can see her for who she is. Is. You know? Bunny Girl was very, very connected to what a lot of teenagers go through these days. Especially with the onset of social media, it's much easier to feel a lot of the anxieties that Bunny Girl exemplified because you're constantly looking at other people on social media. Like, it's hard to feel beautiful when you're looking at, like, 14-year-olds who look like goddamn supermodels every time you go on Instagram, right? If you're, like, a 20-year-old woman who, like, doesn't wear makeup and doesn't dress up. Whereas I don't really empathize with a 10-year-old who died from a pre-existing brain condition because I didn't die as a 10-year-old with a That's really dark. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to communicate something that I think I've gotten through.
Wait, I thought it was a car crash. Was it not a car crash?
Well, but the little girl in My Oi Snail, she had a pre-existing brain condition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like she was born with like a brain or a heart defect that she needed like surgery for after the crash or something. Wasn't that it?
I don't remember specifically.
I think she had some sort of pre-existing condition that made her susceptible to something. One of the characters did.
Yeah, it was harder to connect with most of the issues. Like, the most connection I could feel was,
Tsubasa Cat? That's what these two connected with.
But that's just because everyone kind of goes through that kind of thing.
All of us have that experience.
Yeah.
It's not that
special.
Yeah, and Bunny Girl Senpai did that kind of thing too.
But Bunny Girls, rather than this is maybe a personal way of saying this, right? But the fear of rejection in terms of a romantic relationship is not as deeply seated a fear in most people as the anxiety of not being seen for who you are.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the anxieties in Bunny Girl were larger scale than being rejected by a romantic crush.
It was oddly enough more esoteric in Bunny Girl than it was here, whereas here
it's very
the stuff surrounding it was a little bit more funky and weird, but the actual issues were a lot more straightforward.
They were very individual and straightforward.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bunny Girl ones were more, you could associate yourself more with a lot of them because they were very open and the possibilities were endless as to how things could manifest. Here it's very individualistic, like personal.
Yeah.
But they are very similar shows, to be honest.
Yeah, no, as far as structure goes, they're basically one for one.
Yeah. The only difference really in structure is that Bunny Girl doesn't change openings every single.
Thank God.
Yeah. Although I will say I did
it though.
I did kind of like the changing opening because they kept the arcs so tight, right? Like the arcs didn't really blend into one another. It was arc.
You could individually watch them as they're basically separate shows altogether. I think the issue was, and this damaged the OP more in the show. It led to none of or very few of the OPs actually being memorable overall.
Yeah, I mean
a lot of meh OPs, sometimes we just end up attaching them because we see them so often if we watch them every time.
Meanwhile, we kind of universally agreed that the only OP that we all liked was the one that we've heard 1,000 times before in opening challenges.
Although I do like the lyrics of that one.
Yeah, it is really fun.
Yeah. So I do think that actively was a detriment to the OPs.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Whereas you'll notice the ED, it remained consistent, just adding new elements every time, and I actively ended up liking the ED by the end, even though I know Seki still didn't care for it.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah, no, the lyrics to the ED were very, very nice, because it does actually just go back to what the show was originally.
It ties into episode 12, so that's why I liked it.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. So...
Anyone else have any last things they wanted to bring up here?
I mean, I think, obviously we had a good set of recommendations, and this was this was the big thing that we were all kind of raring to talk about, was the comparison between this and Bunny Girl.
Yeah.
Because it's so recent for us. You know, we just watched Bunny Girl, what, like 3 weeks ago? Like, it was so recent for us. But beyond that, I don't... this and Bunny Girl are not... I would almost call these psychological shows. They're not thrillers of any sort.
Yeah.
But they are definitely
psychological,
aiming for a more...
psychological and mystery to some extent.
They're aiming for a more mature audience.
Yeah. They're definitely aiming for an audience that can kind of pick up on all the cues of the psychology of what's happening to these characters, and how a lot of what's happening is being manifested in a psychological way. It's just they've given, in Bunny Girl Senpai, they give it a physical representation of something being wrong, and here the physical representation is the curses that they're under.
Yeah.
You know? It's just a different way of showing it to us, really. And then a different... But the way of solving it is still essentially the same. They just have to face their fears, you know, face their anxieties, and deal with them, like either learn to live with them or solve them, basically. It's kind of like advocating for therapy. That's basically what these shows are doing. They're saying, go get therapy. Like,
go
face
get
your issues.
Go get therapy.
Like, they're kind of saying you're making a mountain out of a molehill, but it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Like, because that's really what anxiety is, and all these fears is we make them in our own heads, right? We build them up and up and up until they physically weigh us down or manifest in our lives. Like, some people, they're so afraid of being like forgotten or something that they don't want to make connections, right? Because they're afraid that the people will forget them or not see them for who they are, and that kind of thing. And I think it's a really good message, right, that you have these girls having to face down what the problem is, and learn to live with it, right? Like, because they're not just like, she doesn't just kill the Hitagi crab and all of a sudden her life is okay. No, she has to reassimilate all those emotions and those memories and be able to deal with them, right?
Yeah.
For her to be okay again.
Yeah,
you know,
because you can see like while Mei and protagonist Kun are monologuing away about like what's going on, she's physically like in emotional like pain.
Yeah,
like while it's happening, while the crab is leaving her, basically.
Yeah.
I might not have been the most positive, but I think the arcs that it did well. It did phenomenally. It's just, I think my only issue is when I actually weigh the arcs I like versus the arcs I don't. I didn't like 9 out of 15 episodes.
See, I think for me, and this is based on the knowledge I have of Japanese culture and school and work culture, is that Japan is not very mental health forward.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Japan is generally very, very bad about working with mental health of teenagers. And this is a problem that's getting better. And these shows I really like because they both feel like advocation for mental health. That's what they both feel like. And it's nice that they're kind of representing mental issues as a physical thing, because I think it makes it easier. I think this show would make it easier for someone who doesn't have these issues to maybe see how it affects others. You know, it's sometimes hard to describe like the feeling of anxiety or that kind of thing, but like sometimes describing it as a physical thing that's limiting you makes it easier for people to understand. And I like what these shows stand for in that case. I don't know if that's exactly what the authors meant. I don't know if this is what the animators meant. Maybe I'm looking too far into it because I am desperately grasping at straws telling me to get therapy for my own mental health issues. But I liked it.
Well, regardless of my thoughts on it, Bakemonogatari is a series that touched a lot of people, and it's long running. Very clearly, it touched people in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whether that was an intentional or unintentional effect.
I feel this would actually fit a lot more with like the Japanese audience than the overseas audience, though, because it just used to lot
I think mental health issues can really resonate with any audience, and certainly the Monogatari series is very popular no matter where it's shown.
I can kind of see where Warren's coming from there, though, because a lot of this is very quintessentially Japanese, and if you don't read Japanese and you don't recognize kanji like that, those little cards that'll drop quick flashes of information, you're going to completely miss those. the name puns, the subtler hints in the story, you're gonna miss a lot of that.
As opposed to Bunny Girl, which is certainly more fit for an international audience.
It reminds me a lot of how international fans have a harder time seeing how something like Demon Slayer is so popular in Japan.
Yeah.
It's very quintessentially Japanese.
I suppose that makes sense. I mean, it does. I don't mean I suppose. I mean, it does.
That's actually the reason why it got mad for me. It's just, the show is very hard to understand because I just don't fully understand every single folktale that they're talking about.
I suppose this is the benefits of me actually enjoying reading.
I mean,
folk
Japanese
tales and
folk
such.
tale. I do listen to. Actually,
Yeah.
I know a little bit more than you would think about Japanese folklore for reasons. But it's like, I think even just being in the culture, I think would have a net positive to your enjoyment of Bakemonogatari.
Yeah. Yeah. But with that being said, I think it's now time to draw.
Who's got the next pick?
I don't know yet. I'm still... Born.
Alright.
All right, Warren, what are we watching?
Should I do more emotional damage?
Please don't. I mean,
Give us a break.
Do
Do
what
whatever
you
you want to do.
Do what you want. Don't let us... Show us something you
For
want
legal
to
reasons,
watch
that
or
was
you
a
want
joke.
us to see.
Show us
Yeah.
mercy, please. That's what I'm asking for right now.
Look, that's what he's asking for. I say you show us what you want to show us.
I say, just go fucking wild. Do what you want to do.
I want to watch something I haven't watched in a long time. I'm going to say Real Life.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay, so that's season 1? I
That
assume?
is only season 1. There's
Okay.
only season 1.
Yeah, so Real Life
and-
season 1. Have any of the rest of us seen it?
Nope. No opinions on
Okay,
this so far.
then
Well,
that
Born.
means we get to...
Oh, yeah,
But want to pause it right now so we can watch it?
All right, Vorn, since you've seen this, do you think we're going to like this?
This is the more emotional damage train. I don't know about Sekbit, but Sekbit's probably going to try to eat it off a cliff and then herself.
Man, I'm gonna feel emotionally drained after this episode or this season if I haven't already.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the execution for me, I think. It's kind of hard with these kind of shows to really gauge how I'm going to feel before I've seen them, I think.
I mean, this
Yeah.
definitely has been taking. This definitely looks like it's taken more on the romance side than the other previous ones have. Like the other ones have had like bits and pieces of romance, but but this one seems to be kind of more hard focused on it, at least as far as what I can tell. But
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. I want to see what you got to say at the end of this.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Seki, you got any quick thoughts?
So if the song playing in the preview video is the OP, I'm a fan, first of all. Second of all, I actually think I'm gonna enjoy this. This is very red pill, blue pill, and it actually looks like I might have fun with this. And I think I might have watched the first couple episodes of this already.
You might have.
It looks very familiar, like I recognize the characters.
It looked like your era of anime.
Yeah, I think I might have genuinely recognized the characters. Let me just... Yeah, it's around the time when I was watching a lot of what I thought were like feel-good rom-com stuff.
Yeah.
2016. Yeah. So there's a actually pretty decent chance that I've seen this.
Well, I think...
Did we just fuck up?
What?
What?
We watched the wrong trailer.
Oops.
We watched the trailer for Kanketsu Hen, the 4-episode net animation,
Oh.
which came out a year after.
Oh.
It wasn't labeled as separate, so
God
we did actually
damn it.
watch the wrong one.
Oh well. I mean, if it's anything like it.
Yeah, just freaking do the
Yeah.
Crunchyroll one right there. I think that'll work if you want.
That's
Not
Funimation.
Funimation.
Yeah, so this is the actual.
This is what we're actually.
Okay, so now we've watched the correct trailer.
That was
Well,
very different.
Actually, it wasn't really. I think Kanetsu Hen was just a slight continuation
Yeah, I think
of
it
what was happening. Possibly, I'd actually have to go and read the description, but I don't want to spoil myself.
I don't remember.
I have definitely seen this, at least the first half of it. Actually, and I think I actually will like it. Like I said, very red pill, blue pill. Basically, do you want to repeat high school for a year.
Yeah.
And I like that they
Not our
targeted.
high school.
I like
Definitely
that
not
they
ours.
targeted. They were like, "This is for neets who didn't do what they wanted to do in high school and have sucky lives now."
God.
I'll say
Don't
this.
you feel attacked?
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'm not watching the dub.
I might.
I think the dub is actually pretty funny.
Yeah, the dub doesn't seem too terrible.
Oh,
It looks pretty funny. So
God.
I'm kind of looking forward to this a little bit.
It'll be interesting, I suppose.
Yeah. I don't think Knick Knack is.
I'm not looking forward to it. I just don't. I said my piece last time. I think it's just going to depend on the execution here. It always does with a lot of high school shows.
Yeah. But I think with that being said, we have now seen enough of Real Life, and we'll see you back next week for Real Life.
Tune in next time for the thrilling conclusion of our emotional damage trilogy.
Oh no, we might have more. Who knows?
There's always more emotional damage.
Yeah.
Tower of Heaven isn't exactly a cheerful arc about fairy tale.
We could turn this into an emotional damage quintilogy, I think, if we try hard enough.
I was gonna say, cause Tower of Heaven and Battle of Fairy Tale are not really happy arcs.
Emotional damage train. Whoop whoop.
Oh man! Like, comment, subscribe.